Hey folks, sorry about that. Yes, as you can see, my internet went out. That was weird. Let me get some things pulled back up here because I can't actually see anybody in the chat or on the stream. Okay. Looks like some folks are starting to rejoin now. Thank you very much for sticking with me on that. Yes, try again. That's what we got to do here. I don't know. It was really weird what happened. All of a sudden, OBS like disconnected. And it wasn't reconnecting. Because the internet went down. Who knows why? It's been raining here today, which is like the first time in weeks. So maybe the internet lines got soaked. Who knows what happens? All right, let's get back to where we were so we can finish up the stream in the next 30 minutes or so and see how far we can get. What I found right as the stream decided to die, did I burn a hoodie for Hermes? No, I didn't. Is that it seems Jason to SCM might actually want a port and not a string, which makes sense because a lot of times you want it to read from a port instead. So what we might actually want to do is not do this read delimited here, or at least not in this case, and give the input pipe directly to JSON to SCM. Oh, and I should also say, because sometimes people happen to find these half streams later and they thumbs down the stream because they're like, why is this just a 30-minute stream of you talking about something that makes no sense? Well, it's because the first half of the stream got cut off. So go find that other video. I'll try to link it in the description afterward. But yeah, that's what happens a lot of times. I don't know. Streaming in Greece, it hasn't necessarily been the easiest thing, I'll say. So in this case, sway message chi get outputs. And this might actually work. Let's see. Yeah, cool. So it does seem to be a scheme object. It's a vector with nested objects inside of it, with all of the fields turned into, what you call it, A-list pairs, right? So we have all that information available to us, so that's something we can do. In fact, I could actually just make a function out of that. Define get outputs, maybe, right? That's kind of all we really need. Grease the grease cables. Well, we need to do something about it because the internet in this country is horrible. It is so slow for no reason. All right, so we got a get outputs function. That's cool. We also could do get inputs. Same way. Get inputs. So I'll just say get inputs here. And then we could also call that. I could jump down into the console and m sway get inputs. And then, yeah, we got the input list. So cool. That's really easy. There's other stuff too. I think we can get information about the windows. Let's check the man file. So get inputs. What about get underscore other things? Get inputs, get outputs, get tree. So that can give us information about all of the workspaces in Windows, I think. So I could say get tree. Perhaps Prot is also streaming. Can't be both of you at the same time. I don't know. He's in Cyprus, so it's a little bit different. All right, so get tree. Okay, so I ran that now, and I can go to the REPL and type in get tree. And it gives us a lot of information because it's basically just dumping all the information about the active workspaces and what frames are inside of them. So if I were to search in this, I could probably find Emacs in here somewhere. Yeah, right there. It says what output it's on. So that's a lot of information. I mean, if you want to automate things that are happening in Sway, just by having this tree information, you could certainly do some useful things with it. So, okay, that's cool. We can get information and read it into JSON format, or read it from JSON format and turn it into an object. What about if we want to, let's say, split the window? Let's take a look at the command for splitting the window. So layout, set the layout mode of the current focus container. Let's see. split H. Hi, Muhammad. Nice to see all your comments on the videos lately. Okay, so let's call. We don't need to do the JSON to SCM. I think that if I were to go into eShell, then sway message split H. Yeah, it turns into a horizontal split frame. Hey, Drashal. If I say split V, it turns into a vertical split frame. What about tabbed display? Tabbed? Workspace layout specifies the initial layout for new containers. Okay, so maybe layout is a better thing to do. Layout tabbed. It says the layout mode of the focused container. Well, this container, technically speaking, is focused. Default. It did something. Stacking. All right, so we could say define set layout. Layout. Gun says, how's the net in Greece? Siga, siga. Yes, that's right. Gun knows all the Greek expressions. All right, so let me, yeah, there's no output from that command. So I don't need to do any parsing. We could say open input pipe. It's not really necessary. There was another thing that we were looking at for that. Let's see. How do I go back? Info back. History back. CO. CO. Okay. We'll go to pipes. And then there's open pipe. We don't really need the pipe though. We can go just to processes and type in system, I think. And that would give us the error code. So that's probably good enough for doing one-shot commands where we just need to know if it succeeded or failed. So system. And in this case, we're going to say layout. And then we'll put in the layout name here. We could also, if we wanted to, use a symbol for that instead. So we could say symbol to string. Execute that. And then in the REPL, we could say set layout tabbed. No, we're going to do it this way. Tabbed. So, see you again. Have a great weekend. So that, I can't tell if it worked, right? One other thing we can do is switch workspace. And in that case, we can say sway message, workspace, and the name of the workspace. So let's say I want to switch to the browser workspace. Then it worked. So it actually was able to do that. So we can call switch workspace to put it in whatever workspace you want. I mean, it may be maybe good to use the name like workspace here, but I'd prefer to have a little bit more obvious names for functions in a library or an API. So let's go back to the man file. There's a lot of commands here that we could set up if we wanted to, like even full screen. How about that? So full screen. Is there a toggle? Yeah, toggle. Toggle full screen. And we could say full screen toggle. Here, we don't need to append anything in this case. We can just pass the string directly. And here we can say toggle full screen, and it should make Emacs full screen. Cool, so that works. So it's really easy. I mean, really, you're just mapping functions in Scheme to commands that you can invoke. Now, maybe it would be a bit more interesting to try and send commands. Oh, okay. It says you can actually send commands in block format. So anything before the opening bracket will be prepended to the lines inside the block. Ah. Interesting. I like this. For example, output EDP1, anything that's inside this block gets converted into this format. So that what that means is that we do have a way to send these commands for configuring outputs. I like that a lot. How about we try it? Define set output. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Name. And then we could say keys. I think this may need to be defined star to do it this way. I like using keyword parameters when necessary. I don't remember exactly what the syntax is for this though. So maybe if I look at info, if I go back to the index, define star. Okay, define star, you could do key. All right, so variable definition. There's some optionals and then key. All right, cool, so key. And can I say default values for these? Default. You can also have default values. Okay, great. This is the way that I expected it to look. So actually, I don't want default values. Background. Set output. So what about resolution, scale? So for each of these keys, I could do individual output lines. So let's just take a look at what that might look like. If scale, maybe I could define an internal function here. Define call output command. And then here we'll say system sway message output, and then the name, we'll just bake that in. So we want to say here string append name command. Oh, we also need a space in here as well. Okay. So we have that function defined inline, and then we can say in this case, call output. In fact, we can just put it on one line, I think. This would be scale number to string, I think. String append. Probably the right way to do this would be args. And then here, apparently Hermes is god of the internet. Maybe. I want to do an apply. I think I could do this. Let's see. Whoop. Info. No. API reference. Top. Actually, let's go to the, what is it? The procedure index. Join. Is there a function for that? String join. There we go. String dash join. Okay, cool. So the list of parts and the delimiter. So in this case, what I could do is string dash join. The delimiter would be space, and then we'll take the args and append them to a list of one, or actually, let's const sway message output onto the args list. I think that looks pretty clean. That should work. So now, in this case, I could say No. Call, oh, wait. Let's get rid of that part. Scale, number string. Okay, that will work. Scale, number to string. Cool. So if I were to, see, possibly wrong number arguments to number string. Yeah, you're right. Scale. Command is not being used. Oh. Yes. Yes, I think I just need to have this be args. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so now I could, in this thing here, say set output. What is the output name of this thing? Config. Right here, HDMI A1. And then back in the code, I need to set the scale. So I can say scale 1. All right, so wrong type argument position 1. Doesn't tell me where. Set output name. And then scale of 1. Call output args. So that's a rest argument thing. Number to scale. Number to string, yeah, scale. Call output string join. Let's try that really quick and make sure that I'm not doing something really dumb. String join. Actually, do I have access to that function? String join? Yeah. And did I see where that comes from? String join? Seems to be just available. Okay. So string join, const foo. Also, I think I need to put a space. Oh, is that what it was complaining about? String join. Oh, the delimiter is second. My mistake. Just move that right there. I think if we go back now and run it again, it should work. Invalid output subcommand 1. That's actually the standard out. Sorry, standard error, probably. Be nice to be able to catch that. And it seems to have returned an error code of 512. Cool. Invalid output subcommand. What did I do wrong? Let's go to the man file. So output EDP1. If I look at my config, output DP7 scale 2. Okay, so scale should be correct. I just need to make sure that this string is right. So display. And then I'll grab this and put it in here too. Sway message output scale 1. Does it need a new line at the end? Oh, that's right. The name is not there. So the name needs to go here too. Name. Okay. Probably I don't need that anymore. So name up. And is const star available or is that a Geeks thing? That's okay. What I can do is just kind of throw it together by saying append list and then args. And that should work. I'll take that out now. I don't think I need that anymore because I think I'm going to see it working now. Whew. All right. How did that look on the stream? Yeah, so it did set the scale just fine. Let me set the scale to 3, perhaps, and see what happens. Now it's pretty big. I'll set it back to 2. Cool. So I could also set the background like that. I think I have another background file. So what if let's just copy this up here so I can have a better handle on it. Background. And let's pull up dired.file. Whoops. .files. Come on. .files. this number or marker P thing, let's actually see. Toggle debug on error. What's happening? Something about Dired omit that got unhappy after I changed to Emacs 29. This is Emacs 29 with PGTK, so who knows what's different now. All right, let's go in the shell. I'll just get the path from the shell. So ls dot files backgrounds. Okay, I have this something called mountains. It's an old background I used to use ages ago. And here I can say dot files backgrounds and then execute this. Interesting that it didn't. Oh, I didn't actually add the backgrounds to this. So if Lispy bites again. Background. Okay, probably there's a better way to do this. Tanvir says, which distro? This is GNU Geeks. Yeah, Drashal, I was playing with the scale of the display. That's what happened. Also, this is not going to be a number. It's going to be a string. Background is the string. So I'll run that and then run this again. Huh. Weird that it didn't do anything. If background, call output background. I wonder if it doesn't support JPEGs. It's giving me a 512, so it's got some kind of error. Let's put that in the REPL and see if it gives us any clue as to what's happening. Missing background. Oh, background scaling mode. So do I need like an extra parameter for that? I kind of don't like that, but I mean, it could be a pair. But I'm not a fan, to be honest. All right, so call output. Here we may want to do... If I have to destructure this a little bit, it's not so great. Probably could do a match expression. Yeah. So, I'm not an expert on these. But let's try it. I'm kind of curious. If I were to go up, info up. U. Procedure index, match. All right, so match expression clause. So are there any examples here? Right here, match Alice. Okay, so I could say match background. And then I want to extract the path mode. And then here I can call output with path and mode. Not necessarily the best way to deal with this, but hey, we're just trying some things out here. All right, so source of expression failed to match any pattern in form path mode. Maybe. So do I need to have, yeah. So each match pattern. Okay, maybe I need to have a default. I don't know. If it doesn't match that pattern, I'll just give it, well, it won't work. Source expression failed to match any pattern in form, path, and mode. If background. So the weird thing here is that this match isn't even being... Oh, okay, it's probably actually doing macro expansion at this time. And it doesn't understand what I'm doing. Oh, do I need to pull in a module for this? Ice 9 match. It may already be there in the interaction environment, but let's see. Ah, okay, now it works. Cool. So let's try that again. Interesting. Okay, it worked. It just took some time. Nice. So we have a different background on the screen now because it was able to send that with the path and the mode, but that would have to be documented well, I think, for a Scheme API. Okay. What else can we do with outputs? Let's look at man. Does it tell me? Oh, I think I have to look at the output man page. Same thing for inputs. We could set things for inputs the same way, which is kind of nice. So you could, in theory, you could use get outputs and then find the name of your outputs and then set things on them if you wanted to. That's a definite possibility. Resolution. I don't know if I really want to tweak resolution right now, but it's definitely doable as well. In fact, let's just do that. I can simplify this really quickly. Call output, resolution, resolution. Probably use a macro too, or a syntax to simplify this pattern a little bit, but whatever. What else? So X Wayland, disable, enable, border settings, border toggle, sure. Cycles through the available border styles. I mean, I don't really think that's necessary. So we could have a set border command, I think. I'll just do this, set border. And then the keys will be style and thickness. Yeah, thickness. Okay. So style default could be, what does it say? Normal. Maybe when instead of if to make it clear there's no else form. Oh, yes, thank you. Good point, Jeff. Thanks. All right, so here, we don't need to have this complicated setup. We could just simplify it, I think. All right, so we have style and thickness. And then we just set the thickness to 1 pixel by default. Default is normal with thickness 2. Okay, so we could just do that. So system, string join, append. We don't need to string join it. We could just do a string append, I think. Just simple, plain old string append. Hey, don't do that. So sway message border, then symbol to string, style, and then number to string, thickness. I got a couple problems to deal with here, I see, like border. Also need to put a space in between. Okay, so then set border. Yes, thank you. This is for the focused window. All right, so we should be able to see this change. Thickness of 10. Aha, it works. So we did set thickness of 10. I could set it to 50, which is horrifying. And I'll set it back to 5, I think. Nah, what did I have it? 2, 1, 1. Okay. So border thickness of 1 and style of, what is it? Pixel? What's the difference between normal and pixel? Oh, pixel gets rid of the title if there's no other frame. So I kind of like pixel instead. Yeah, that gets rid of the title. Mohammed says, is the video placed on YouTube afterwards? Yes, you can see the recording on YouTube afterwards. But you'll have to make sure to watch the first part of the recording because the stream died halfway through. Let's see. What's the right way to do this? There's a way to comment out certain forms. Let's see. Guile, comment out. Well, comment block. Block comments. Nested block comments. I want it so that I can actually execute the expressions inside, but have it not be evaluated. Doesn't seem to have a way to do that. How about this? Well, no. Okay. So that's setting the border and the output configuration. That's cool. Defining workspace mappings. I suppose we could do that. Define set output workspace. Let's set up a function for this. Workspace name, output name, I guess you could say. Same thing here. We're going to call up good old system. Workspace, let me go back to my configuration. And what is it? Workspace. The workspace name, then output, and then the output string. So string append name, output, output name. All right, so possibly unbound variable name. Yes, thank you. Workspace name. All right, so now we have a function for setting that. Now the thing is, it doesn't actually show you this working because it's sort of like a default setting. So without like changing display settings and whatnot, you wouldn't actually see this working in practice, but it is possible to call it. We could say set output workspace. In fact, we could even do it here. Maybe this is better. So we could say workspaces. It doesn't really work though, does it? The way that I'm doing this right now is I'm calling it with multiple outputs in a list. So if I map it to a specific output, then I lose that capability. So that. I think the name of this function is also wrong. Probably should be set workspace output. So then we start with the workspace name, which would be dev, and then the output name, which would be HDMI A1. So set output workspace. We're just going to switch that name around real quick. And then we can call set workspace output, and it works. You just don't really see anything happening. Move workspace to output. So this is also something we can do. I have a couple of workspaces that are on another display right now. Like let's say the com workspace for communication programs, which I rarely use anymore. So if we go back to set workspace output, we can copy this function and say move workspace to output. Very similar. I think there's a move command for workspaces. Move workspace to output. Oh, but it actually wants you to set the current workspace first because it uses the current workspace to do this. You can't call it by name. So we might need to do a compound command in this case. So what I'll do is run 2 system calls. The first one, which sets the current workspace to the workspace name. And then the second one, which calls sway message move workspace to output. So these can actually go away. I wonder if it's going to break everything if I do this. Up. No. There we go. To output name. All right, so let's move com to this display. So I'm going to run this. Now com shows up here. Now I could also move browser to the other display. So I could say EDP1 browser. I can execute that, and now browser is gone from up here. I can see it on my other screen right now. You can't actually see it. But if I change this back and say this is browser and execute that, then browser comes back. So definitely works. So, I mean, this seems pretty doable. I think everything is actually, accessible. It's just a matter of coming up with a nice interface to make it convenient to configure Sway with Guile. But, I mean, you have everything you need. In fact, if you use these git commands, you have access to all of the information about your running session, and you can do even more automation. So I think it's pretty cool. Benjamin says, what is Sway? Sway is a Wayland compositor. If you haven't heard of Wayland, it's like the new desktop system protocol. I don't know what to call it, but it's like the new Xorg. It's been around for a while, though. It's not too new. It's just the newer one. But I'm using it right now just to see how much I like it, and it's pretty cool. All right, so I think I'm out of time for the day, but that was a pretty productive stream, I think. We probably could have got more done if I hadn't talked about Sway for an hour, but that's the way it goes. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here today. I'm gonna put the code that I wrote in the show notes. The link to the show notes is in the description. Yes, Sway is I3 for Wayland. Thanks, MaxRev. So if you want to check out this code or take it, you have my permission. Just take it and do whatever you want with it, and have some fun with Guile and Sway if you set it all up. So next week we'll be back with another stream. Maybe I'll get a video out. I don't know. I've got a lot of things happening at the same time right now, so it's been really difficult to record videos. But I really need to get back to it. I want to make that video about Geeks Home. I keep saying that, and it's going to happen. Just give me some time. Anyway, thanks everybody again for being here. Hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.